What's up, everybody? It's John here with Crippled Fox Gaming again, and this episode is going to be, I'm going to show you guys how to make these cool little walkways that I'm putting on the ruined terrain from the Mantic Games Vanguard ruined terrain sprue. I showed you how to do like this, how to paint this, and do the vines last time. So I'm going to do this thing, these little walkways that I have plagiarized from somebody else on the Vanguard fan site. So I'm going to do this in a quick way, and I'll be right back. What I use for the cross pieces, the actual boards, are these little, I think they're coffee stirrers. They're little, they're maybe about 1 millimeter thick, and just these weird little shaped things. And I got them, I'm sure I got probably 1,000 of them for however long ago I got them, and they're cheap, and they're about the right scale for what I want to use them for. And then the support pieces, I use just regular craft sticks, like you get from anywhere like Michael's or Hobby Lobby or whatever. And the easiest way to kind of figure out what size you need, take a piece of paper and put your little thing on there and draw about the size that you think you're going to want this to be. Like if I want this to be like just a straight triangular piece, I would just draw a triangular piece there, and you use that kind of for your template. I'm going to do it a little bit bigger though, so I'm going to go maybe kind of a jaggedy piece out to here. And all you're going to do is you're going to take these things and your handy dandy sprue cutters, and let's say we want to get these things so that the boards are going to the support boards are going to stick out on this side. So I'm going to cut off the end of this. Let's see if I can keep this from launching this across the room. I'll cut that to that piece. And then about here, make that a little bit longer. So that's there. Maybe get another one out here a little bit further. Yeah, that's actually about where I want it to be. So I'm going to cut this at an angle, and we'll distress these later. I'm going to cut this just thusly. And I have my glue gun. I actually had this sitting out and I forgot it was there. So remember that next time you have a hot glue gun. It's called hot for a reason. And I'm going to glue this right down to the paper because I'll just be able to tear that off. And this will give me kind of a little base to keep this on, to keep it from sliding around, because I've done this a couple times and I found this, you know what, I'm going to cheat every which way. So I'm going to make this, just going to stick those down there right there. And then I have, these are the way those little pieces come initially, and I have cut them all down because I'm getting better. I'm learning how to do stuff ahead of time instead of pausing 8 or 10 different times. And all I'm doing, I'm just going to spot glue these things on here. And I'm using the cooler melt temperature glue because hot glue is, I mean, this is hot, but hot glue stays really hot. And if you haven't learned that by now, a few minor burns on your fingers will help you to remember that. And I'm just kind of putting these, kind of spacing them apart, making them look a little bit raggedy, a little bit under production, under skilled labor, because the cheapest bid gets the contract, right? So we're going to do these things. This might have been an attic, or it might have been an upper berth for an inn, or just a peasant hovel. I'm just gluing these things on here, and then I will cut them and I will distress them to make them look like they've been wrecked or burnt or whatever. I'm just going to keep gluing all these things on here, and this is the quickest way to glue it. I tried it before with the PVA glue, and I'm just too impatient. I want this stuff to get done now, and I want to be done, and so I can crank a bunch of these out in a timely manner. And I'm just going to keep going. I'm kind of trying to remember to follow my lines here, and there, and there. And I'm gonna have that be the last one I stick on here. And the best part about this, you can still kind of see where your lines are going here. So I'm going to just kind of cut these off where I kind of am pretending to draw the little template. And then this, actually, I'll leave that where it is. But these I'm going to distress here on there. See, it's already dried. I'm just going to peel that off of this. And the paper on the bottom will, it should be able to just peel that right off, because that low temperature glue is a little bit more forgiving than the hotter hot glue, because that stuff just it's too hot. I'm telling you, too hot. And I may have lied a little bit. I'm just going to cut that off with an X-Acto knife, making sure to cut away from myself. You learn that lesson when you're a little kid. Ended up cutting off the end of my finger at one time, and that was no fun. So I've got this. Put this over here. And all I'm going to do with this, I'm going to kind of peel these little, you get those little threads on there, and I'm just going to kind of peel those off as I go. And these things, they just snap right off. So I'm going to just take this, I'm just going to pinch that and just try to twist it a little bit. And it'll actually leave its own little areas, or the little bits hanging off it, to make it look like it was actually broken off, which it actually is, but you're doing it on a smaller scale. And I'm not going to worry that it's, you know, happy little mistakes. That's what we're doing here. Everything you do is just going to be just kind of, we're going to keep doing this and just keep snapping these kind of along this, kind of do this in here. And this is going to be a nice quick tutorial. It's not going to be me prattling on for a half hour like my first one was, which, you know, is my first try doing this, and, you know, I appreciate you guys subscribing and liking all the stuff that I do. Hopefully you're liking it, because I kind of like doing this. I like sitting there talking to myself on my nights off. It beats talking to myself at work, that's for sure. These larger pieces I'm going to have to cut. I may have to just cut those lengthwise a little bit and try not to get them all the way down. I think I am going to just use my little sculpting tool here, and I'm going to use the other end, and I'm just going to kind of carve some chunks out of this rather than do actual cutting with the sprue cutters. So I'm just going to kind of turn that sideways and kind of distress it a bit. Really, I've got a cutting board. Let's use that so I'm not messing up my nice blotter thing here. Oh, geez. Well, there you go. Nothing. There are happy accidents. I'm telling you. I'm going to be your shaved head Bob Ross. And I might put some in these as well. It's the same thing. Same kind of technique. And everything is, I'm always learning new stuff from either other people or messing up my own stuff. I've often been known as the big guy who makes tiny things, and you know what? I'm fine. I'm cool with that. So I think that's gonna be fine. So you've got your basic platform here. So what I'm gonna do with this, instead of you can use actual wood stain or paint. Again, I am a lazy hobbyist, and so what I'm going to do, again, I've got the Agrax Earth Shade. You can use just about any kind of ink wash or paint that you want. This wood, if wood will absorb it, I'm going to use it. So I'm going to hold off on that. I might do that on the next one. I'm going to show you the Agrax Earth Shade. This is the gloss one again. This is I'm going to get a little bit of water on that thing. And this will be kind of, this will be nice and a nice kind of darker shade to it. And you can always add, you know, if you've got a green or kind of a grayish color, you can add that to it as well. And this stuff will dry pretty quick, and it kind of gives you that nice distressed look of weathered wood, I think. I'm not going to mess with doing a lot of white bits, because the thing I'm looking at is it's something that's been there a while, and it's not gonna be pretty. It's not gonna be a freshly broken board where you can see the inside's a lighter color than the outside. Nah, I'm not doing that. This is for something that's going to have been wrecked for a while. Underside, maybe, if you think it's going to be seen, you might as well go ahead and do that. It's the same thing. You know, I'm going to try and see what this thing looks like. This is the Reaper Flesh Wash. This isn't a gloss. I think it's going to be a little bit more brown. Yeah, it looks a little bit almost kind of a reddish brown. That's not bad. Might do that on something else at some point. Like if I'm doing to do a an actual wood flooring or something like. Well, actually, you know what? I don't hate that at all. Let's do that on the top. Get a little bit of variety in the colors here. Do that. Yeah. There you go. You know, I think I may. Let me just try something. I've got a bunch of other things in here. I've got a sepia wash. I've got a stone wash. That's not great. Let's see what that brown, those clears. In case you notice, I do a lot of work with. I'm a huge fan of all things Reaper paint, all things Reaper makes, minis and paints and stuff in general. This is the brown wash, and that's, you know, that's not terrible. I'm gonna do that. There's gonna be little bits here that you kind of I got a little bit too much glue. You know what? I'm just gonna get in there and kind of cover that up a little bit. And as you can see, that kind of gives it a nice kind of distressed outdoor look. And make sure and get the edges because we don't want those to look too perfect. Got that. And that off there. That back. So before I stab myself again, got my other pencils, paintbrushes there. Putting these back because if I don't, I'm going to forget where they are, and nobody's volunteered to be my minder yet to tell me where I hide all the things that I use are. So what I'm going to do, since I already pre-measured kind of the way I want this thing to fit, it'll fit, we'll say, let's see, I have gotten somewhere these little ladders from the terrain crate, and I'm going to see just how tall these things are. So I'm going to kind of measure this. I'm going to try to fit it in there and see, get something that'll be about right there. And I will just either, let's see, I'm just going to mark that on the inside here if I can. You just see it a little bit on that one and then on this one here. And initially what I did when I put these on here, I guess I can do that at any time, I thought about pinning them directly to the plastic. Well, here's the problem. You put pins on this side and you put pins on this side. Well, you can get these pins in here, but then what do you do with these pins? Well, you glue them to the bottom like a knucklehead, so I'm going to do it a different way. So I am going to put a little support underneath it, and that's going to be the same way. I'm just going to measure that out and cut off a bit of this, and I'll go back and I'll distress this with the wash as soon as we're done with all these shenanigans. And I am just going to put that right on the edge. Take the hot glue, and you know what, let's measure that again before I get all ahead of myself. Let's go right like that there for this one, and then the other one I'm going to put on top of these because I'm just using it basically to support what's already there. And I'm going to put a nice dollop on here, and I'll probably add to it as well when I go do this. And this, you know, count to 5, count to 10, whatever, and this thing's just going to stick right there. He said, yeah, watch this. It's going to get stuck to my hand or something awful. Nope, hey presto. So we'll do the other one this way. Let's just take that just right to the inside of this here. And again, make sure you have hold of both sides. Otherwise, it's going to end up launching into your living room because I've done it before. And just kind of get that. You'll have a nice right angle on this thing because using that template helps get it the way you want it to go. I'm just going to put that like that on here. And I'm going to hold that for a second or two and let that low temperature glue do what it does best. Just hold on to that. And I am also going to add a little bit along this. I'm going to put a little bead along here just for some double reinforcement because nobody's going to see that outside because it's going to be glued to the object you're gluing it to. And see, it's already, and this is already dried. I mean, I wouldn't lick it, but I'm not gonna get it on my fingers either. I'm gonna do the same thing with this. Oh, I'm doing it on this side. I'm doing it on the side that's gonna show maybe. This these harder craft sticks don't always take it as well, so I'm going to put a little bit extra on there. And the thing I like using about this stuff, it's all water-based, because, you know, if you want to use actual stains, some of that, you know, you get polyurethane stains and stuff like that, ugh, A, it stinks, B, it takes forever to dry, C, it gets your fingers all nasty, and you got to get the nice pumice stone or some lava soap and use that to get it off there. And so this is pretty much dry, I think. And I'm not going to pin that to here. Let's, hey, you know what? Don't mark something that's gray with something that's gray. So let's just figure this out again. I think it was about there. And I won't tell anybody if you don't. Yep, probably thick. God, it's like I know what I'm doing. So what I'm going to do is I am going to, I think I may have put in that, you know what, let's trim this off a little bit. I have just the thing to do that. I'll take this little Dremel here, grind that thing down to where it's flush. Oh, right. Mm-hmm. Yes, figure out which direction that's going to blow first. Same thing here. I'm just getting that to where it's kind of flush with the support that I've got here, so I don't have to use quite so much glue. I don't know if you could hear me or if this thing was too loud. All right. Let's kind of get that rope ladder. I'm going to put that thusly. Yep, that's about right there. And again, got my nice low temp glue here. I'm going to put a lot on here because I want this thing to stick right where it's put. And you got to be kind of quick with this too. So I'm just going to squash that on there. And it's a little bit, there we go. And just hold that for a little bit. You know what? I think I am gonna run a little bead underneath that, just to do that, just to get a little bit of extra support if you got a really heavy. Hey, guess what? I need more of this stuff. Add a little bit more underneath here if I can. Yep. There's your serendipity, baby. Put some more schmutz underneath that just to keep it in place. If you've got a really heavy metal or pewter miniature on there, it's not going to take a tumble off here and ruin your perfectly good paint job that you've done. And it dries clear, so no one will ever know it's there unless you tell them, and shh, we won't tell, will we? So I've got that, and there you go. There's your little support, your little second level for this thing. So now I've not only show you how to how to paint these up, I've doubled your storage space. So you can put your objectives up here. You can hide your nice little your little goblin sneak thief and have him hang out up there, or you can put your treasures and stuff up there, or you can hide dudes underneath and then forget they're there like I usually do. It's like, oh, I've got this extra guy. Didn't I have 6 guys here? Nope, you had 7. So I think that's about it. I think it looks okay, and I will dull coat this. So use some Tester's dull coat, and I think I'm going to put some more vines and stuff on the outside. I might try a little different color on this, but that's all it is. It's just that easy, and that's not too bad a length. Okay, thanks. Hit the like and subscribe. I know some of you have, and I appreciate it. I'm really having fun doing this, so I hope you're having fun watching and listening to me babble on and on and on. See you later.